We are controlling transmission.
Fear of whatever they're going to do. I told my girl she's the fourth most important thing in my life. It was me, my career, my mother, and then her.
Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. Sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to outer space.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to!
Alright, it's your homie Mr. Research back again, trying to give you a different... Hey, it's your buddy Mr. Research. We're going to get back to the top of the normal black YouTube talking points. Time to do something for the intellectuals. Let's get it. Successful channel. Alright, so first thing we're going to talk about is how established black men move up. Here is the most important thing I have learned over the years. I don't care about being number one. Sometimes number two and number three is way more comfortable and way more lucrative. Again, I do not care about being number one. Sometimes number two and number three is way more lucrative than number one and way more peaceful. So what I learned is many of the black man's problems as it relates to moving up, financially or as it relates to power, is that too many black dudes want to be in charge. And this is one of the reasons why it's hard to work together as a black male community, BMC. So the entire BMC kind of suffers from this because only 20% of us are making money moves. And the other 80% are just showing up to work. And when that happens, the 80% doesn't understand that the 20% is trying to make sure they don't fall back down. Now, to the 80%, they consider this cooning, selling out, which is ridiculous, because if the 80% would actually try to make these moves, then they will realize, oh man, this is pretty easy. All I got to do is not fall down the stairs. I'll be great. And it's hard to get cats to relate to that, to relate to that, you know. So a lot of cats, they're in this just enough mentality, and that's not a good look. Somebody said the other day, there you go again, putting suit and tie against blue collar. No, I never said anything like that. And that was something that some YouTube rapist claimed that I said, and I never said nothing like that. There's nothing wrong with you being blue collar. There's nothing wrong with you being brown collar. There's really nothing wrong. The only thing I say is, for the sake of your black son, make sure you turn that brown collar job into a white collar business. Make sure you turn that blue collar job into a blue collar business. My cousin 2 years ago was talking about how great it was to work at Tesla, and then 2 years later he's no longer employed at Tesla. He's looking for a job. So you got to understand that when you have even a suit and tie job, you aren't necessarily guaranteed to be there. You feel me? That doesn't mean the only thing that really suit and tie mentality is that you want to get in the best situation possible and always have the best black. And when you have that, you're in a great position. You feel me? So this is the most important thing, is not stressing to be number one, not stressing to be number two. You know, I've been in situations where I'm number three and I'm in a great situation. I get to take more vacations than number one and number two. I get to make better moves at home than number one and number two, and I just make maybe $1,000 or $1,500 less than number one and number two. Works good for me, And then to supplement that 15, I might go get a night job, that 4 hours over the night, or a weekend job, And then when I get tired of doing that, I'll leave the weekend job, chill out, wait about 6 months, go back to the weekend job, and my money is just the same as one and two. It's just that I'm in an easier situation. So that is the number one thing to understand, is that stop stressing to be number one and number two. Sometimes number two and number three is great, outstanding. And this again is another one of the reasons why it's hard for black dudes to defeat supremacy, because they're looking at everything as black dudes look at a lot of stuff like women. Me, I. That's the way women look at stuff. Guys look at stuff in groups of wolf pack. As long as the wolf pack survives, that's all that's really important. And you can kind of tell when some guys have had too much women influence at work. They can't control themselves a lot of times, or they're in situations where they think they're powerful and they're really not powerful. So just remember, this is part one of how established black men move up. The rule here and the point here is that you have to remember being number one and number two is not that important. You want the best situation that fits your lifestyle. And I'll talk about some on another video. The key is pulling brothers in so they can be protected, so they can insulate themselves. Brother doesn't have to argue. He just removes a lady out of his issue. And a lot of you dudes, you don't have the power to remove these women. You don't have the power to remove your mama. So the best thing you can do is get online every week and complain about females. That's how I can tell you're not in control of your own life. You should be able to wolf away. These females, take your money, get on a plane and move to Montana, move to Wyoming, move to Utah, move to Oregon, where all these other women are at. Stop getting online crying, talking about, I can't move, the apartment's too high. It's better for me to just bash these black females. It makes me feel safer. And most of you can't stand your mother. Your mother was abusive. Your mother was horrible. Your sisters are terrible. Auntie's terrible. I get it. But crying about it ain't the move. Let's get together, have better, polite conversations. Not all these angry black YouTube hate festivals that we tend to have. When I do have hangouts, the way I moderate, I have one of the most polite and respectful hangout shows. That's why people flock to my hangout shows when I do them. Because I let everybody speak, and I really moderate the thing very well, and you get a lot of intellectual information. Most of my fans are intellectual people, and you got to understand, views and clicks don't really mean anything. It never meant anything. The term views came from Tommy, and that was no such thing as a view, because if you click something for a second, it's considered a view. But YouTube only looks at watch time, which is why people run these 5 and 8 hour hangouts, so they can increase their subscribers through watch time. That way YouTube promotes it. A lot of times, man, you got people with 900,000, 100,000 subscribers, and they barely making $3,000 a month. And you're like, Q, how is that? Because I understand how this stuff works. I've been down to San Mateo, and I sat down with the YouTube women. So I say all that to say this, people. Channel and why I do what I do. Once upon a time, black men defended black womanhood. Black men helped black women get jobs because the white woman did not even want them in the office. Those are facts. And now, since ladies have come to power, what do? They turn around and crap on dudes. Like I said, the solution, fellas, you either move to Wyoming, stop black bashing, or become a team, become a union. The Black Chefs Union. You need a union everywhere. It's not about hating other cultures. It's about being a culture and being a powerful culture. It's not about hating females. It's about being economically more powerful. Brothers hiring brothers. Brothers hiring brothers. These are the solutions needed. Not endless hangouts where we just talk about what we should do. Okay, you heard my long-winded thing about the channel. Now we're going to get back to all your questions.